Admiral Sarachin stood at the command center of Earth Defense Station Omega, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing thousands of unknown vessels entering the solar system. After decades of waiting, humanity's greatest fear, and perhaps its greatest opportunity, had finally arrived. Multiple signatures detected crossing the Kuiper Belt. Admiral Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. Their energy signatures matched the ones our deep space probes detected in the Centauri system. Chin allowed herself a small smile. The aliens thought they were being stealthy, using what they assumed was advanced cloaking technology. They didn't know that humanity had been studying their tech for the past 50 years, ever since the first crashed scout ship in the Atacama Desert. "Status of Operation Sleeping Giant?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Colonel James Harrison, her second-in-command, pulled up another holographic window. "All planetary defense grids are powered down as planned. Civilian internet and satellite systems are operating at 20th century levels. The surface looks exactly like what they'd expect, a primitive Type 0 civilization." The trap was set. Humanity had known this day was coming since they decoded the alien database. The Arvanian Empire had a pattern. They would find developing civilizations, assess their threat level, and, if deemed sufficiently primitive, launch a full-scale invasion. Their overconfidence had led to the conquest of 12 worlds. Earth would be different. "They're launching scout ships," Rodriguez announced. "Preliminary scans suggest they're buying our act. Their formations are loose, minimal defensive positioning." Chin nodded to Harrison. "Deploy the quantum observers. Let's see what they're saying to each other." Microscopic drones, invisible to even the most advanced Arvanian sensors, swarmed out from hidden stations around Earth's orbit. Within moments, alien communications began flooding the command center's translation systems. "Listen to them," Harrison said, his face hard. "They're actually laughing about our primitive nuclear weapons." The alien chatter was filled with confidence, even arrogance. They spoke of Earth as an easy target, its defenses pathetic, its military capabilities barely worth considering. Their invasion fleet was operating with minimal security protocols. "Sir," a young officer called out, "the Arvanians are broadcasting their invasion plans to their entire fleet. They're not even using basic encryption." Chen's smile grew slightly wider. "Send the coded transmission to all defense stations. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Remember, let them land their first wave. Let them think they've caught us completely by surprise." Around the Earth, hidden beneath oceans, mountains, and Arctic ice, humanity's real military power stirred to life. Quantum-powered warships, gravity manipulation weapons, and swarms of AI-driven combat drones remained dormant but ready. The surface militaries would play their part, fighting with conventional weapons, making the Arvanians believe their intelligence about Earth's capabilities was correct. "Admiral," Harrison said quietly, "the first wave is beginning their descent. 10,000 dropships, heading for major population centers." Chin watched the alien ships enter Earth's atmosphere, their commanders no doubt congratulating themselves on finding such easy prey. The Arvanian Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. "Send to all commands," she ordered. "Operation Sleeping Giant is in effect. Let them land. Let them deploy. Let them think they've won. Then show them exactly what humanity is capable of." As the alien ships descended through the clouds, they remained blissfully unaware that they weren't the hunters in this scenario. They were the prey. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for this moment, developing technologies in secret, building weapons that would make the Arvanians' most advanced systems look primitive in comparison. The real war was about to begin, and the overconfident alien empire had no idea what was waiting for them. The Arvanian dropships landed in perfectly choreographed formations across Earth's major cities. Their commanders watched with satisfaction as human populations fled in apparent panic, as primitive military forces scrambled with their obsolete weapons, exactly as predicted. General Kazdar, supreme commander of the Arvanian invasion force, stood proudly on his command ship in high orbit. "Look at them scatter," he growled to his subordinates, mandibles clicking in amusement. Their most advanced aircraft can barely break the sound barrier. Their ground forces still use chemical propellants. In the depths of the Cheyenne Mountain complex, Dr. Elena Santos watched the alien deployment through quantum imaging systems that the Arvanians didn't even know existed. She keyed her comm link to Admiral Chen's command center. "The enemy is deploying exactly as predicted," she reported. "Their overconfidence is making them sloppy. They're not even scanning for subterranean installations." Below the world's oceans, beneath its mountains, and deep within its deserts, humanity's real military power hummed with barely contained energy. Quantum reactors powered up, gravitational field generators spun to life, and dimensional phase shifters aligned themselves. "All sectors reporting ready," Harrison announced in the Omega Command Center. "The Arvanians have committed 60% of their ground forces. Their orbital fleet is maintaining minimal combat readiness." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. "Begin Phase 2. Let's show them what 50 years of preparation looks like." Across the globe, hidden bunkers opened. But instead of primitive missiles, sleek vessels emerged that seemed to bend light around them. From the oceans rose ships that didn't displace water, moving through it as if it wasn't there. From mountain bases came aircraft that violated every law of physics the Arvanians thought they understood. In New York, an Arvanian commander was gloating over his easy capture of the city when his sensors detected something impossible. The primitive human tanks he'd been laughing at suddenly shifted, their forms rippling as holographic disguises fell away. In their place stood quantum-phase battle platforms, their weapons already charged. "Impossible," he screamed into his comm. "These primitives can't have this technology. They were using fossil fuels just decades ago." The response he received was the sound of his own ships being torn apart by weapons that shouldn't exist. Gravitational singularity bombs imploded Arvanian armor like paper. Phase-shifted plasma beams cut through their invincible shields as if they weren't there. In orbit, General Kazlar watched in horror as the planet beneath him seemed to transform. Hidden defense platforms emerged from dimensional pockets, their weapons already tracking his ships. The primitive satellites his forces had ignored suddenly dropped their disguises, revealing themselves as quantum weapon platforms. "Full alert," he bellowed. "Battle formations. How did they hide this? How did they build all this?" Admiral Chen's voice came over all Arvanian frequencies, translated perfectly into their language. "Did you really think we wouldn't notice your scout ships over the years? Did you think we wouldn't study the technology from your crashed vessels? You saw what we wanted you to see, a developing civilization that would be an easy conquest." Around the globe, humanity's hidden arsenal revealed itself. Quantum teleportation gates opened, allowing forces to move instantly between continents. AI-driven drone swarms emerged from subterranean hives, their collective intelligence far beyond anything the Arvanians had developed. "You thought we were primitive because we still used fossil fuels?" Chen's voice carried a hint of amusement. "We maintained that technology deliberately, along with all the other primitive systems you saw. Every piece of bait you swallowed was carefully crafted over decades, waiting for this moment." The Arvanian invasion force found itself caught in humanity's trap. Their easy conquest had become a desperate fight for survival, as weapons and technologies they had never imagined possible were brought to bear against them. In the Omega Command Center, Harrison turned to Chen. "All defensive systems are fully deployed. The enemy is in complete disarray. Shall we proceed with Phase 3? Chen studied the tactical displays, watching as humanity's real military power engaged the shocked alien forces. "Execute Phase 3, she ordered. "Show them exactly why Earth was never the prey they thought we were." The real battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity held all the cards. The quantum display in Earth's Defense Command showed thousands of red dots representing Arvanian forces rapidly shifting to defensive positions. Their initial shock at humanity's true technological capability had worn off, replaced by desperate determination. Captain Maya Wong stood on the bridge of the EDS Thunderchild, Earth's first quantum battlecruiser, as her crew prepared for humanity's counterattack. The ship, hidden for years in a dimensional pocket beneath the Pacific Ocean, hummed with power that would have been unimaginable to the Arvanians mere hours ago. All ships report ready, Captain, Her Exo, Commander David Anderson, announced. The Arvanian fleet is attempting to consolidate their positions in high orbit. They're abandoning their ground forces. Maya's lips curved into a grim smile. Just as predicted. Begin Operation Thunderstrike. Show them what Earth's finest can do. Across the globe, humanity's hidden fleets emerged from their concealment. The Thunderchild led a task force of 30 quantum ships rising from the Pacific. Similar forces emerged from the Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic oceans. Each vessel represented decades of reverse-engineered alien technology combined with human innovation. In orbit, General Kazdar watched with growing horror as his tactical display filled with new enemy contacts. Impossible. They're ships. They're using technologies we haven't even developed yet. The human fleet's first strike demonstrated just how far Earth's military capability had advanced. The Thunderchild fired its main weapon, a quantum cascade cannon that didn't just damage its targets, but temporarily removed them from normal spacetime. Arvanian ships simply winked out of existence, their crews experiencing their final moments across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Multiple enemy capital ships attempting emergency FTL jumps, Anderson reported. Activating dimensional anchors. The Arvanian vessels found their escape routes blocked by fields of warped spacetime. Humanity had not only matched their technology, but had found ways to counter it that the Arvanians had never conceived of. On the ground, the abandoned Arvanian invasion forces faced an equally devastating assault. Quantum phase tanks that could shift between dimensions at will appeared inside their defensive positions. Human soldiers wearing powered armor that made them virtually invisible to Arvanian sensors struck from impossible angles. This is Admiral Chin to all Earth forces, the command channel crackled. Execute Phase 3 Alpha. Let's show them what happens when you corner humanity. The Thunderchild led its battle group in a maneuver that would have been impossible with conventional physics. The ships moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum drives allowing them to exist partially in multiple locations at once. Each vessel fired from dozens of positions simultaneously, overwhelming the Arvanian shields with attacks that came from everywhere and nowhere. In New Delhi, Tokyo, New York, and other major cities, the alien ground forces found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to possess near-magical capabilities. Human troops appeared and disappeared at will, their weapons bypassing shields and armor as if they weren't there. Enemy fleet is breaking formation, Anderson announced with satisfaction. Their command and control structure is collapsing. Captain Wong watched as the mighty Arvanian invasion force began to crumble. Their carefully planned conquest had turned into a rout, their technological superiority revealed as an illusion. Humanity had not only prepared for this battle, but had surpassed their would-be conquerors in ways they couldn't comprehend. Send to all ships, she ordered. Initiate attack pattern Omega. No mercy for those who thought to enslave our world. The quantum fleets moved as one, their coordinated assault turning space itself into a weapon. Dimensional shockwaves rippled through the Arvanian formations, shattering ships and sending the survivors fleeing in panic. General Kazdar's final transmission to his high command was cut short as the Thunderchild's quantum weapons transformed his flagship into a brief, brilliant explosion that existed in 7 dimensions at once. In the Omega Command Center, Admiral Chin watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Send to all commands, she ordered. Begin pursuit operations. The Arvanians came to Earth looking for an easy conquest. Let's show them exactly how far that mistake will cost them. Operation Thunderstrike had succeeded beyond humanity's wildest expectations. But this was just the beginning. The war would not end with Earth's defense. Humanity was about to take the fight to the stars. The halls of the Arvanian High Command echoed with chaos as reports flooded in from the Earth invasion force, or what remained of it. Supreme Overlord Vexthor, his iridescent scales dulled with stress, watched in disbelief as the tactical displays showed the unthinkable, human warships pursuing their retreating forces across multiple star systems. How, he demanded, his claws leaving deep gouges in his command throne. How did they hide such power from us? On the bridge of the EDS Thunderchild, Captain Wong watched as her quantum sensors tracked the fleeing Arvanian ships. The pursuit had taken them far beyond Earth's solar system, but the humans' superior technology meant the aliens couldn't escape. Multiple Arvanian colonies detecting our approach, Commander Anderson reported. They're attempting to mobilize defensive fleets, but they're scattered. They never expected to fight a war this close to their core worlds. Admiral Chen's voice came through the quantum comm network, addressing all Earth forces. The Arvanians thought they could subjugate humanity. Now we'll show them the cost of their arrogance. All ships, commence Operation Starburst. The human fleet split into multiple battle groups, each targeting different Arvanian systems. The Thunderchild led the assault on Arvanus Prime, the alien empire's capital world. As they approached, they encountered something unexpected, civilian ships fleeing in terror. They're broadcasting surrenders, Anderson said, surprise evident in his voice. The civilian government is requesting immediate negotiations. Captain Wang's expression remained stern. After what they tried to do to Earth, transmit our terms, unconditional surrender of all military forces, and complete technological disclosure. The Arvanian response came swiftly. Their military leadership, proud and arrogant just days ago, now faced a force that had not only defeated their invasion, but had pursued them across space with technologies they barely understood. The civilian population, seeing the seemingly invincible human ships appearing in their skies, demanded immediate capitulation. In a hidden research facility on Mars, Dr. Santos and her team continued analyzing captured Arvanian technology. Admiral, she reported to Chin, their database confirms our suspicions. They've been doing this for centuries, finding developing civilizations, conquering them, stealing their resources. But they've never encountered anyone who prepared for them like we did. The quantum displays showed human forces systematically dismantling the Arvanian military infrastructure across dozens of star systems. The aliens' famed planetary defense networks proved useless against Earth's phase-shifted weapons and dimensional warfare tactics. Incoming transmission from the Arvanian High Council, Anderson announced. They're offering complete surrender. Not just their military, their entire empire wants to negotiate terms. Supreme Overlord Vexthor's image appeared on the command screens, his once proud bearing now humble. Humanity, he began, his voice trembling, we gravely underestimated your species. What you've accomplished in mere decades took our civilization millennia. We submit to your terms. Admiral Chen's response was cold but measured. Your empire's days of conquest are over. Earth will oversee the liberation of all worlds you've subjugated. Your technology, your knowledge, everything will be shared with those you've oppressed. The turning point wasn't just in the war, it was in humanity's place in the galaxy. In less than a week, Earth had gone from a seemingly primitive world to the dominant force in this sector of space. The Arvanian Empire, built over thousands of years of conquest, had been humbled by the very primitives they'd sought to conquer. In the Thunderchild's observation deck, Captain Wang watched as Arvanian ships lined up to surrender, their crews still struggling to comprehend how thoroughly they'd been defeated. Send to Earth Command, she ordered. The Arvanian capital is secure. The Empire has fallen. Across human space, celebrations began as news of the victory spread. But in command centers and research facilities, work continued. Humanity had learned a valuable lesson. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and they would never again appear weak or unprepared. The war was effectively over, but humanity's journey to the stars was just beginning. The question now wasn't whether Earth would become a galactic power, but what kind of power they would choose to be. The quantum battle carrier EDS Prometheus hung in orbit above the former Arvanian colony world of Nexus 7, its massive form casting a shadow over the Liberation fleet assembled below. Colonel Sarah Martinez stood in her command center, watching as teams of human specialists helped the local species, reptilian beings called the Kith, reclaim control of their planetary defense systems. Another success story, her second-in-command, Major Jack Chin, reported. The Kith resistance is already adapting our quantum technology. They're quick learners. Martinez nodded, remembering how Earth had once been in a similar position, secretly studying alien tech. How many worlds does this make now? 17 liberated in the past month alone. The Arvanian Empire is collapsing faster than we anticipated. These species they conquered, turns out they were just waiting for someone to show them it was possible to fight back. On the planet's surface, human special forces teams worked alongside Kith warriors, teaching them to use Earth's advanced weapons systems. The sight of aliens and humans working together would have been unimaginable just months ago. Now it was becoming common across hundreds of star systems. The quantum comm crackled with an urgent message from Earth Command. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared before Martinez. "Colonel, we have a situation. A group of hardline Arvanian military commanders has gone rogue. They've seized control of their sector's quantum arsenal and are threatening to destroy any world that cooperates with Earth." Martinez's jaw tightened. Location? The Cerberus cluster. Your battle group is the closest. Captain Wong and the Thunderchild will rendezvous with you in 6 hours. These rebels need to be stopped before they undo everything we've accomplished. The Prometheus and its escort fleet made the quantum jump to the Cerberus cluster, emerging in the midst of chaos. 3 former Arvanian colony worlds were under siege, their newly established independent governments facing annihilation from their former masters. Multiple hostile contacts, Major Chin announced as the tactical display filled with red markers. They've modified their quantum weapons with some kind of new shielding technology. Our standard phase shift attacks aren't penetrating. Martinez studied the tactical situation. The rogue Arvanians had learned from their previous defeats, adapting their strategies. But they'd forgotten one crucial detail. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology, but its ability to innovate. "Deploy the Phantom teams," she ordered. Special Forces units in next-generation stealth suits began quantum shifting aboard the enemy vessels. These warriors had trained for years in dimensional combat, moving through spaces the Arvanians couldn't even perceive. The battle that followed would be remembered as one of the most decisive of the post-war period. Human forces, now supported by liberated alien allies, demonstrated why Earth had become the galaxy's premier military power. The rogue Arvanian fleet found itself fighting an enemy that seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere at once. "Ma'am," Chin reported with a grin, "the Kith defense fleet just arrived. They're requesting permission to assist. Seems they want to repay us for their liberation." Martinez watched as sleek Kith warships, now upgraded with Earth technology, moved to join the battle. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out as former slave species rose up, armed with humanity's weapons and knowledge. The Thunderchild arrived in a flash of quantum energy, its advanced weapons immediately targeting the rebel flagship. Captain Wong's voice came through clear on the command channel. "Colonel Martinez, shall we show these holdouts why they should have accepted the peace terms?" Together, the combined Earth and Kith forces crushed the rebel fleet. The battle demonstrated not just humanity's military might, but their ability to unite former enemies against common threats. The liberated species were proving to be valuable allies, each bringing their own unique perspectives and abilities to the alliance. As the last rebel ship surrendered, Martinez received a transmission from the Kith High Command. Their leader, a scarred veteran of their resistance movement, spoke with genuine emotion. "Earth has shown us more than just how to fight. You've shown us how to build, how to unite, how to forge something greater than empire. The galaxy will not forget this." In the aftermath, as human and alien crews worked together to secure the cluster, Martinez reflected on how far they'd come. Earth had entered the galactic stage as a target for conquest. Now they were the protectors of countless species, teachers of technology, and architects of a new interstellar order. Admiral Chen's final transmission of the day summed it up perfectly. "This is why we fought so hard to defend Earth. Not just to survive, but to ensure that no species would ever again face what we faced. The galaxy is changing, and humanity is leading that change." The warriors of Earth had become warriors of justice, defending not just their own world, but all worlds that sought freedom from oppression. 1 year after the fall of the Arvanian Empire, Earth had become the center of a new galactic order. The gleaming spires of New Geneva, humanity's first true interstellar city, rose from the Swiss Alps into the clouds. Here, representatives from 100 liberated worlds gathered to forge a different kind of future. Admiral Sarah Chin, now Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, stood at the window of her office in the Galactic Cooperation Center, watching ships from dozens of alien species moving through the quantum gates above. Each vessel represented a former victim of Arvanian oppression, now partners in what was being called the Terran Concordat. The final reports from the Outer Rim are in, Dr. Elena Santos announced, entering the office with a quantum tablet. The years of war had left their mark on the scientist, but her eyes still burned with the same determination. The last Arvanian holdouts have surrendered. The liberation is complete. Chin nodded slowly. And the price? Over 3,000 human casualties during the war and subsequent peacekeeping operations. But we saved trillions across hundreds of worlds. The technology we've gained from cooperation with liberated species has advanced our capabilities beyond our wildest dreams. The quantum display on Chen's desk showed the current state of known space. Where the Arvanian Empire had once dominated in red, now a peaceful coalition of independent worlds glowed in blue. Earth sat at the center, not as a conqueror, but as a protector and guide. Message from the Kith Assembly, her AI assistant announced. They've successfully adapted our quantum shield technology. Their entire system is now protected against any future invasion attempts. This was humanity's true victory, not just defeating the Arvanians, but ensuring that every species could defend itself. Earth's policy of sharing technology and knowledge had transformed former victims into strong, independent allies. In orbit above New Geneva, Captain Maya Wong supervised the commissioning of the newest class of Earth defense vessels. These ships were different from the warships that had won the conflict. They were exploration vessels, designed to push the boundaries of known space while maintaining the peace humanity had fought so hard to achieve. The Arvanian databases held one final surprise, Dr. Santos continued, bringing up new data. They weren't the only empire out there. There are others, perhaps even more powerful, at the edges of our galaxy. Some may see us as a threat. Chen's expression hardened. Let them come. Humanity isn't alone anymore. We've built something stronger than an empire. We've built a community. In the chambers below, representatives from former Arvanian slave worlds debated the structure of their new alliance. Some had been enemies for centuries under Arvanian rule. Now they worked together, united by their shared experience and humanity's example. The former Supreme Overlord Vexthor, now serving as an advisor to the Concordat, addressed the assembly. My people's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's technology. It was failing to understand their spirit. They could have conquered us completely, taken everything we had. Instead, they showed us a better way. Earth's victory had come at a price, not just in lives lost, but in the heavy responsibility they now bore. They had become the guardians of peace in their sector of space, teachers of technology, mediators of ancient conflicts. In the quantum shipyards orbiting Mars, new vessels took shape, not just warships, but research craft, exploration vessels, and diplomatic carriers. Humanity had learned that true power wasn't just about military might, but about the ability to build, to teach, to unite. The Phase Gate network is fully operational, Santos reported. We can now reach any Concordat world within hours. Trade is flourishing, cultural exchange is at an all-time high. We've achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. Admiral Chin finally turned from the window. And what about Earth itself? Have we changed too much, too fast? We've evolved, Santos replied simply. But we haven't lost what makes us human. Our curiosity, our determination, our ability to face challenges and adapt. If anything, we've become more true to ourselves. As night fell over New Geneva, the stars above shone with new meaning. Each point of light represented not just a distant sun, but worlds where humanity's influence had brought hope and freedom. The price of victory had been high, but the reward was a galaxy forever changed for the better. Earth was no longer just humanity's home. It had become a beacon of hope for countless species, a symbol of what was possible when determination met opportunity. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning.